This is Morten from Inkish, and we simply had to move to a little bit more quiet place because SuperCore is also about equipment. It's not just like the FEFCO and the normal cores that are not every fourth year where you have less equipment or zero equipment. So that's why we're here in the halls of SuperCore, and I'm with my good friend Mark from HP.
Hello, Morten. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. You are in, I mean, you're HP, right? I mean, if you look at you at all the exhibitions, you asked me when we was walking here, are you at Printing United? Yes. Are you at Label Expo? Yes. We are here at SuperCore. That shows a little bit on how wide a product range HP in total has. But just within the corrugated, I mean, you still is maybe the supplier that has the most equipment, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have a big portfolio, and you can't be in all places at once, of course. You know, we've got representation at SuperCore here in Orlando, Printing United in Vegas, of course, and also Label Expo in Chicago. So my colleagues are very much split across those three sites. It does represent the portfolio, of course. You know, we've got the biggest portfolio in the print market. You know, commercial print, labels and packaging, and also into my own business in Corrugated. But even within the Corrugated portfolio, we've got a very wide offering, the biggest offering, you know, for digital corrugated converters in the market.
Yeah, because I mean, as you know, Shika and I, we went to Sutherland not so long time ago to see let's say a brown box manufacturer that was actually stepping up to do like fully digital with their PageWide C550, right? Yeah. That was an amazing journey that company has been into. That kind of journey, is that something that you see across a lot of printing companies and converters these years, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a trend where a lot of brown box manufacturers are moving more into high graphics for sure. You know, small and big companies, incidentally. Sutherland is a family-owned business, of course. In fact, Jake is here today.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't see him.
I just met with Jake, and we should catch up with him.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're making great strides. You know, they're growing their business, and he's showing record volumes month on month.
But I was surprised because, as I told you, when I saw the C550, one thing is sometimes when you see it on a website or something like that, it's actually a really industrial graded, high volume production machine, and that is not even your biggest, right? Because you recently launched the T700 and the T11 series as well, right? I mean, so you're both faster and wider, and I mean, you can do a lot of things. Tell me a little bit about, let's say, the portfolio that you're focused on.
So the portfolio, the C550 is the post-print device. In fact, it's the baby. You know, it's the sheet-to-sheet device that we have. The other devices, you know, within the portfolio are web-fed. So we have the T470, which is really aimed at folding cartons. It's what we call a 40-inch wide press. We have the T700, which is the new launch. We announced that only a few months ago, really aimed at lamination. So, you know, we call it DigiLam, you know, where companies are producing their print through offset, and then they're laminating it to board afterwards.
Okay. So that is like the intention with that machine, basically.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then the big one, which is the T1195i. You know, this is a 2.8 meter wide device, really aimed at the preprint market, so higher volumes. But again, similarly, you know, in that market, you know, those big companies, the big groups are looking for high graphics, you know, so that they can sell their products as well.
I remember once I interviewed, I think it was while Alain Bacheny was part of HP, and I said to him there should be an Indigo or an HP product for every segment in the industry, right? And I guess that is like what you're just telling me, because the reason why you have these different types of machine is obviously because of different needs in the market, right? So when you go to the market and talk to the converters and the printing companies, what are the trends that you see that drives that digital transformation right now?
Well, so the big thing at the moment is supply chain benefits. You know, digital allows you to print what you want when you need it. So it reduces inventory for brands. It reduces inventories for the converters. You know, so you know, if you're squeezing the inventory, you know, you're improving everybody's cash flow. So you go to a brand, you know, you talk to the CFO. He's really interested in a digital solution because it actually lowers his working capital. And again, you know, a lot of our converters are actually stocking products for their customers, the brands. So you can actually show them a benefit as well by allowing them to reduce their stock.
Yeah. It's funny because when we met earlier this morning, and that was not intended for this interview, but some of the things we spoke about was when you said that again, the productivity advantages that you have with digital, because I think that a lot of people first think digital as small volume, variable data, all those kind of things where you need obviously digital. But as you say, for supply chain issues, it's maybe even more obvious that you need to go into this kind of technologies.
Yeah, I mean, all of our technologies, all of the products within the Corrugated portfolio can do all of that. You know, they can do the versioning, you know, the track and trace, ability stuff. You know, every sheet can be different, but that's not the main play here. The main play is agility. You know, it's time to market. It's being able to produce run lengths cost effectively and time efficiently. So yeah, that's the kind of main area.
Has that talk track changed? I mean, you've been in the industry for many years with different vendors. Has that talk track changed over time, or?
I think it has. I mean, since COVID, we saw a lot of supply chain challenges. You know, brands were narrow in their product lines. You know, so this kind of big increase in SKU proliferation disappeared. It actually reversed.
Did that come as a surprise to you, or?
I think it came as a surprise to everybody, really. But you can understand it. You know, they wanted to make sure that they got products on shelf. You know, and the way that they do that is by having less products and running longer runs.
To make the more cost efficient, basically, right?
Yeah. So brands at the time, were stocking up. That was painful for them, because they had to carry a lot of products,
money
it's a lot
into
of cash.
Inventory. Yeah,
it's a lot of cash. I think that is starting to ease itself now. A lot of the brands are now starting to destock. So I think that we'll start to see an improvement in kind of digital uptake in many respects. Because again, those big CFOs of those big brands do not want to have that pain of cash flow again. So actually, it might start to accelerate the uptake of digital, within this corrugated segment.
I can't help think about, because I was just wondering, because when I started in the industry 25 years ago, right? I think that a lot of the decisions investing in technology was made by, let's say, the CTO or the owner of a printing company. But when you talk about the CFO, I think that the financial side of investing, not just for, let's say, the actual investment and financing, but also for the being involved in the production, is becoming more and more dominant, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always lived by the mantra that we're not selling technology, we're selling time and money. Yeah. Our customers are looking to produce whatever they want to produce in as little time as possible and with as little money as possible. So, those are the benefits ultimately that the customer's looking for. You save them time, you save them money, and they'll work with you. And whether that's the converter with us or the brand with the converter, it's the same deal.
Yeah. And what about, because I mean, when you look at the industry, I think that everybody is seeing a little bit. I think that after COVID, a lot of people were very positive, seeing a little bit growth in the market, and not just from the converters and the PSP side, but also on the OEM side. It seems that this has maybe slowed a little bit down, and obviously HP as a market leader also in the corrugated space, digital corrugated space. How do you see that? Is it like a full stop, or is it just waiting for it's just waiting for the next opportunity, or how do you see that?
I think all markets are cyclical, aren't they? You have good periods and less good periods, of course. But overall, it's a bit like the stock market. The trend is continuously up. So we continually see greater and greater volumes being produced by our digital devices. In fact, corrugated converters print more digital paper-based substrate through HP presses than any other OEM or vendor.
Okay. But that's a good starting point when you discuss, right? Because it must be proof of concept. It must be people that understand the business models behind the value of HP equipment. We're here at the SuperCor, and of course, it's always an opportunity to talk to each other. But I mean, have you sold anything? Made any announcements of anything here during the show?
Yeah. So in the last 24 hours, we've announced a new partnership with a huge independent company here in the US called Welch Packaging. Thank you.
What was it called?
Welch Packaging.
Welch Packaging.
Yeah. So these guys are based in Elkhart, Indiana. So in the Midwest. And yeah, it's a really exciting, dynamic business.
As far as I remember, it's a pretty big business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big independent. Yeah. I think they've got 20-something sites.
Wow.
So yeah, and these guys are rapidly growing.
Is that the first digital machine, or?
It's their first digital device. Okay. Yeah. And
super excited for you, I guess, right?
It is exciting, yeah. Because it's an endorsement of the technology again. It's a big player investing in their first step in this digital world, and hopefully it will lead to many more in the future, of course.
And I guess that competitors that look at how they invest might also be encouraged to at least talk to you guys, right?
Well, that's the hope, of course. Yeah. That's always keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
thanks, Morten.
Always.
Take care.